Hello everyone, welcome to Watch Complications. Today I'm going to review a watch that's not brand new. The past couple video reviews have been on watches that have just recently hit the market, like the Haskell and the Helios C4. But this is for a brand of watch that I've been wanting to pick one up for a while, but was waiting for the right model and right sale, and that is an Orient, which are Japanese made, partially owned by Seiko, but I've been wanting to get one of these Orient watches for a while. I wasn't sure exactly which model. I like a few of the models. I like the Star, I like the Envoy, this is the Eclipse, which is in the sport line. I also like the looks of their Defender and their Explorer. So there's a couple models, and I say more about those and put a few pictures on the blog post that accompanies this video. But the one that stood out to me the most that I really liked, because it has elements of different styles, is this one, the Eclipse, which, like I said, is in their sport line, but you might notice right off the front, it has the open heart, what they call the open heart, so you can see the balance wheel and other things going on inside the movement. They are so there's elements. It's sportish, but it's got the open heart. It's the only model in the sport line that has the open heart, and then there is dress-like elements to it too. Orient's a little bit more well known for their dress watches, and this has some of those same features that you see in the dress line. So again, this is a review of the Orient Eclipse. I wasn't expecting to do this review, not sure how long it'll be. I just wanted to give you a look at the watch in video form to kind of go along with the pictures. There'll be lots of pictures and some commentary in the blog post. Here you can see the things that came in the box with the watch. There's the box that the case comes in. Here's the case, pretty standard white cushion interior. I do like the case. It's simple, sort of black silver tones, has the logo on it. A nice simple case, but I liked it. It's a nice touch. And the manuals and whatnot for operating this watch. Okay, so the specs. It's pretty standard size. It's 40 millimeter diameter, so pretty standard, nice circular case, and it's highly polished. As you can see, you're going to see glimpses of things around the room and me and stuff, and the entire case is highly polished, front and back. You can see it has the exhibition back so you can see the movement. But 40 millimeters diameter, 11.5 millimeter height, so not too big, not too small. It's got the Orient caliber 46A41, which is an automatic movement. As you can see the rotor in the back. It is 21 joules and has a reserve of about 40 hours. So it's fairly good all around dress/sporty style watch. This would be good for multiple occasions, which is what I like about it, is you could wear this in a lot of different scenarios with a lot of different outfits. Strap, I wanted something, another reason that there's a couple of things that really tipped me to this watch. One is the face, and I'll talk more about that and its characteristics in a minute. But a couple of the other things that really I liked was I was looking for something with a bracelet that had brush links, which this does. The other characteristic, there's, like I said, there's several different Orient models that I like. One of the things you have to be most careful about when you buy an Orient is they have a lot of different types of crystals that they're using. And it's one of the first things I look at whenever I'm digging into a particular model of Orient and even in the same line, so like the Star line, for example, they have models that are mineral crystal domed, and you go to the next model and it'll be a flat sapphire with anti-reflective coating. So they have a huge variety, even in the same lines, of the types of crystals that they're using. I say a little bit more about that in the blog post as to why they're still doing that, or why I think they should get away from that. But this is one of the models that has a sapphire, so it's a flat sapphire crystal on the front, which will help add to the sort of the longevity and adds to the quality of the watch a little bit. So this had sapphire, had the bracelet that I wanted, and again, sort of, it's in the sweet spot for in terms of the size. The lume on the hands, they use Lumibrite, which is what Seiko, which is partially owns Orient, usually uses on their hands. The dial, I was also looking for something that had sort of a white. It's white, but it's got sort of a silverish tint to it. The dial does. It's more white around the edge, and then the dial is a little bit different texture. So there's a lot of depth, a lot of texture to this particular model, which is, and again, all sort of things that I went for. I really wasn't looking at the crown closely whenever I was looking at pictures online of thinking to buy the Orient model, but I really like the crown. It's the right size. It's got a thin profile, but it's really easy to use. Doesn't take much to engage or interact with the hands, and it's nice in all sorts of ways. So, but this is a great watch to kind of start with, at least for me in their line. Okay, so what are the there's gonna be lots of pictures on the post. I've got some loom shots and all sorts of things. The markers, so it's loomed on the outside edge, these markers on the outside, and then you've got applied markers on the inside that are faceted on the ends, which then means whenever you're in all sorts of different angles, and you've probably noticed, and I've tried to be moving this around a little bit, you get, depending on the light and the angle, you're going to get all sorts of different looks about the watch. I like the lines crossing through the markers, gives it a lot of texture, but the color of the markers and the hands moves anywhere from sort of a light gray. You can kind of see it in this position I've got it here, sort of a lighter gray color, and then it can move towards, in the right light at the right angle, it's black. And so you've got this whole spectrum that the hands and markers move along regarding, the light and the angle as you're viewing the watch, which is really cool. It's one of the things I like about watches is interesting dials that will catch your attention in different ways. I mentioned this on the site. Sometimes, I'm sure this wasn't in the design brief, but the marker over here on 3, in certain light, you'll see pictures, it actually looks like a 3, which I'm sure wasn't the intention, but again, just one of those little interesting things that I noticed when I was looking at the watch, taking the pictures of it, so on and so forth. So the hands are loomed, the outside markers are loomed, and then you've got the applied markers on the inside. So lots of variety there. Of course, the logo up here at the top, and this is sapphire water resistant watch. Again, this is the Eclipse model. So, a couple other things I want to mention about the characteristics of this watch. It's what Orient calls open heart, which you can see the balance wheel doing its thing inside the movement. So you can see the balance wheel beating back and forth. You can see the escape wheel down in there as well. And I mentioned this more in the post, but you can see there's a lot of depth to this particular open heart thing, which is a classier look than a lot of open-faced, or whatever you want to call skeleton watches. Orient has done a really good job at making it, dressing it up a little bit. And this circle cuts just a little bit below center and a little bit closer to the middle. It's like off-centered in two different ways. And what that does with the caliber layout is it allows it to do sort of a cross-section and show some of the depth of what's going on in the sort of the hierarchy of attachment, what I call it sometimes, in terms of the watch. You can see this better in the pictures on the blog post, but you'll notice that you can see how the hands are attached. You can see some of the train pivots in there. You can see the hour wheel and the center wheel all the way down to the escape wheel. of course the balance wheel. You can see a lot more than you would think with just a little open circle, and it's because of the caliber layout, where they have it cut, and how they've cut it sort of in off-center sort of way. It's all kind of nice little elements, and like I said, kind of dressed up the concept of a skeleton watch a little bit. You will also notice there's another, this is something that is unique to this particular model right now, is you can see another rectangular cut on the right side here toward the 3 o'clock markers, which shows the stem and the clutch wheel and the intermediate wheel, and kind of showing how these elements inside flip back and forth and interact with each other a little bit, which is kind of, again, another a sporty touch, but a dressier way of showing a part of the movement and the makings of the watch and how they interact with each other. And all of the information about the manufacture of the watch is etched around the case and into the rotor. So it says, the caliber, number of jewels, Orient, sapphire, all those different things. Being a sport line, it has a reasonable depth rating of 50 meters, so 150 feet. So it's fairly water resistant, right? One of the things that they make sure that they write on the dial. So what the things that are mentioned here, of course, we have the logo, that it's automatic, water resistant. Those two diamonds they put with a lot of their sapphire models. And then, of course, it's made in Japan, and then the model number on there. What's interesting, so the crown doesn't have any markings on it, just a nice slim profile that is sort of unique to them, which, again, I like it. And then you have Orient stamped on the clasp for the bracelet. When this arrived for me, I sort of have medium-sized wrist. I had to, I removed a link from each side. So I took my little Bergeron strap and bracelet tool and popped a couple of the pins out and took links out. So I had to take, like I said, one link from each side. I sort of have a medium-sized wrist as far as what it was shipped with. Now the retail price on this watch is $350 if you were to buy from their website, from the Orient website. And you can go to distributors and usually get them for cheaper. Some other online places have this for around $200, this particular model, but its original retail price is $350. And Orient was having a sale of $50 on the watch to take it down to $300. And then they had a 45% off Father's Day sale. And who doesn't like a good Father's Day present? And so my sale cost of this watch is $165. And I've been wanting to get an Orient. These, of course, Japanese-made watches. They have their own calibers. This is a high-quality watch with sapphire. It's got the open heart. It's got the exhibition back. It's got a steel bracelet. It's all stainless steel, 50-meter water resist. This is an all-around excellent watch anyway. And then to pick it up for $165 is, I think, a really, really good bargain. And I'm really glad that this watch came up for sale. And I'm really happy with it. And I expect this one will stay in my collection for a while. That's one of the reasons also, if you're going to get these watches from Orient, I knew that whatever watch I got from them first I'd want it to stay in my collection. And if it's got a chance of staying in my collection, then I want it to have the sapphire crystal so I can wear it for years and years and not have to worry about it too much. So this is the Orient Eclipse, and I think, like I said, if you're going to buy one of these or any Orient watch, I would look on their site. I would watch for sales, and if you hit it right at the right time, usually you can pick one of these up for a reasonable price. I don't know if I was to get another Orient, which one it would be. Since I got this, I would say something maybe like the Defender, or I still like the Envoy. It's a dress watch. I would say either the Envoy or the Defender would probably be other Orient watches that I would be particularly interested in acquiring. But this is a great watch for a great price when I got it. But if you are interested in this more, there's going to be more detail and photos posted on watchcomplications.com in the blog post for the Orient Eclipse.